Without ambition, your potential is completely worthless. Think about it. We live in an era that treats desire like a disease. Every internet preacher with a ring light is telling you to calm down, do a dopamine detox, and seek inner peace. But let's be honest, they're selling you the lie that makes you comfortable with being average. Happy, satisfied people do not improve. Dissatisfied ones do. The urge to strive, to chase, and to build isn't a problem in your biology. It's an engine of progress. And if you try to cure it, you're throwing away your only potential. I used to buy into the monk mode hype. I would delete my social apps, sit in a silent room and try to find contentment. I thought if I could just reset my brain, I would wake up motivated. Instead, I woke up bored. And then when I actually achieved something I worked for months, the second I hit the goal, the pleasure lasted about 5 minutes. Then that familiar cold emptiness crept back in, and I was already looking for the next thing to chase. Success and dissatisfaction are chemically linked to give us despair and fleeting pleasure. I felt like a failure because I couldn't just sit still and be happy. And I thought my brain was broken because I refused to stay satisfied. But then I looked into the actual science and I realized it wasn't something wrong with me. I was just misunderstanding what I was meant to do. In the molecule of more, they explain that our brain operates in two spaces. First, there's your peripheral space, the here and now. This is governed by H&H, chemicals like serotonin, oxytocin, and endorphins. This is where you savor what you already possess. But everything outside your immediate reach, the future, the possibilities, the goals, lives in your personal space, and that space is governed entirely by dopamine. Dopamine allows us to perform mental time travel. It lets us judge distance, imagine things we don't possess, and manipulate scenarios in our head. But here's the catch. Dopamine does not create pleasure. It creates craving. It is triggered by possibility and not certain optimism and evidence. This is why we chase things that often value not at all, or that even break our hearts. Dopamine urges us to race towards what might be good, on the false promise that it is. It is a reward prediction system. It fires when something exceeds our expectations, but the moment you grow accustomed to something, the dopamine is thrown away. Pleasure fades and the urge does not downregulate. We are wired for. So when these preachers tell you to detox, they are telling you to starve the very chemical that anticipates and plans those intoxicating experiences. The goal isn't to kill the craving, the goal is to build a balance. You see, dopamine has two systems, the processing system and the control system. When you're planning and imagining, we're using the control dopamine system to direct our desire into action. The real danger isn't desire, it's cheap adventurism. If you check your notification every 3 minutes, you downregulate your brain. By doing high dopamine activities too frequently, the receptors shut down and the good feeling is lost. Your baseline drops, making even the simplest task possible. A real dopamine fast isn't sitting in a dark room for a day. It is a long-term commitment to upregulation. It's about replacing cheap empty triggers with H&H activities and slowly, little by little, cutting back. It's a self-therapy, a frank conversation of who you are and who you want to be. So here is the system to exploit the biology. It's built on cognitive behavioral therapy and ACT, the skills of psychological flexibility. First, instead of using willpower to run away from bad behavior, you expose yourself to the trigger. When the urge hits, stare at the trigger for 5 minutes, use box breathing, accept the unpleasant tension, and ride the craving wave. After 3 to 5 minutes, the anticipation dies and the wave naturally dissolves. If you're dieting, this could be the urge to eat some chocolate or other fast food. You can stare at it and then wait 5 minutes. Second, use your control dopamine to build progress. Every morning, visualize your goal, but then shrink the timeline. Break it down into 3 smallest, most boring actions you can do to move forward right now. Focus only on the next 2 hours. By shrinking the horizon, you make the goal predictable, giving you a steady, energizing dose of dopamine rather than spike and crash. There is nothing to heal. Stop trying to become a monk. If you want success, accept the tension of being unsatisfied and use it to build your future. Try this for a week and stop detoxing and start exploiting the biology.